Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. I am making this video in response to a question that was asked of me by someone who is new on her path to understanding who she is in general, but in particularly who she is spiritually. And many of us start out with some type of spiritual path. Perhaps we come from a family that wasn't, and I put this in quotes, super spiritual, religious, didn't define a path because the parents just weren't that way. And then we find ourselves on a new journey. If you come from a family with a path that does not approve of what I kind of see as people see as a tangent, which is not really a tangent, because a lot of times when you take a tangent you want to come back, but you know, it's a divergent path. Then if your family doesn't approve of that, it sometimes is a struggle, but it is a calling. What can you do but answer it or be depressed and feel like you're gonna die? So I know this situation. I know what it's like to be new and to sort of feel like I don't know what to do. This person even said that they felt behind the curveball, and the beauty is this: we are never behind the curveball, because at the end of the day, and this is my first point, self-realization is what matters. Knowing the truth of who and what you are is what matters. And when you know the truth of who and what you are, as it expands, you begin to realize that there is no beginning and no end to who and what you are. There may be a beginning and an end to the incarnation that you're in, but this incarnation is in fact a part of a process to help you to realize there is no beginning and no end to who and what you are, because you are pure potentiality. You are consciousness. You are an extension of the great divine consciousness that so many people call God. There is no beginning, no end. So there is no being behind the curveball. The ultimate is not really this life and all that it has to offer. The ultimate is self-realization, knowing the truth of who and what you are. The ultimate is at some point figuring out who and what you are to the point where you feel nothing but bliss, because bliss is who and what you are, and it's all that you experience when you're in that space. When you lose your body, you are way more available to experience that bliss, that pure potentiality in the body. That's the trick. So we're never really behind the curveball. Everything that happened before that moment where you said, you know what, I'm taking that red pill, I'm going to wake up even more, happened to get you to that point, happened to help you to make sense of this life. It's all so beautiful, so purposeful, and it is of your creation. Those of us who are feeling called to African traditional spirituality, in particular Ifa. I don't know all that there is to know about the Akan tradition. That is a goal of mine, is to learn more about the Akan tradition. I do feel that, there is some blood connection that I have to the Akan. I have no proof of it, but when I look at my great-grandfather, he looks like he could be from Ghana. Anyway, Ifa in particular, we have this question, and it's one I had to figure out. It's one I had to turn to the elders to figure out, what am I supposed to do? Because Ifa is, African traditional spirituality is so different. It is so, for some of us, foreign. I'm trying to make sure I'm closing out these windows so we're not hearing all the YouTube beeps. You got me. I'm not supposed to be on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. You caught me. Okay, so, we're trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we start this thing? And when a lot of times when you hear about Ifa, everyone is jamming, rocking, and celebrating the Orisha. And so one of the reasons it's so easy to celebrate the Orisha is because the Orisha are vibrant, they're energetic, they're fun. And whether you know it or not, you are connected to the Orisha day in and day out. You can't not be connected to the Orisha. If you are breathing, you are connected to the Orisha. If you see the sun, the sky, the trees, the grass, the flowers, if you take herbs, the food, the water, everything, fire, that's Orisha. And so I don't know the full story, but we have become very, very much Orisha centered. And what my elders have taught me is that for the majority of us, well, not the majority of us, that what matters most, on one hand, is the ancestors. If you're watching this video and you are African American, probably those who are in the Latin world also, but for sure those of us in the United States, we have a unique experience because of how our ancestors came through that transatlantic slave experience, that human trafficking of the Africans, let's say it that way. Because we have been a bit more disconnected than those descendants who are in Latin America from African traditional spirituality. And so I feel, and I'm basing it on what I have learned and just have observed, that our consciousness is a bit more wounded in some regards. And so it is incumbent upon us to work with our ancestors, because so many of the issues that we are experiencing stem from the unhealed wounds of our African ancestors, who landed here in America or who were brought here to the United States. And so we have to get that right. The ancestral connection is strong. And first and foremost, we want to heal up our ancestors. We have ancestors who are assisting us. The ancestral connection is strong. In Africa, in African traditional thought, spirituality, indigenous people in general, they understand that ancestors go to the other side and help us on this side. I think we know that, but we've been programmed to believe, no, they're over there asleep. We don't do that. We remember our ancestors, but we don't think our ancestors can help us because we haven't been programmed to understand that is true. So if we have some ancestors though that are, the trauma of their lives have them stuck, or the dysfunctional ways that they developed as a result of being over here in this hostile environment, if those dysfunctional ways keep getting handed down to us, we have to work with our ancestors to get that all healed up. And it's a very energetic thing. It's about honoring the ancestors, remembering the ancestors. So besides self-realization, because that's really the ultimate, that transcends religion, it transcends ethnic identity, it transcends where you were born, your gender, your sexuality, it transcends all of that. You need to know who you are. Number one. I don't really care how you do it. But if you're doing it within the Ifa tradition, especially if you are here in the United States of America, you need to work with your ancestors. And it's a foreign concept, but you have to set up that altar. And I'm almost positive I have a video for that, but if I don't, I'll make one. And then you have to get to work with connecting with your ancestors. It's very energetic. At the end of the day, if we are going over into Orisha land, the Orisha that is most important is your Ori. O-R-I. So if you never ever find out who rules your head, it's okay if you're working with your Ori. Ori is, a lot of times the way I explain it is, Ori is your higher self. It is the seat of consciousness within you. We must connect with the divinity within. And again, this is the self-realization process. Some people say Ori. In the Hindu tradition, it is Ganesha. I sort of feel like within the Christian tradition, this would be the Holy Spirit. So, it has different names, but at the end of the day, it is the divine within you. You must connect with your Ori. That is the ultimate deity. I remember when I was new, I talked to Baba Bakari. Some of us here in Middle Tennessee know Baba Bakari. And he was the first one that explained to me that it was the Ori that was sent specifically. You have your Ori. I have my Ori, sent specifically to assist you on this journey. That when you get off path, your Ori is there doing what it needs to get you back on path, to help you to understand the truth of who and what you are, to help you move more in alignment with your destiny. And I can't talk about Ori super in depth and sound intelligent, but what I know is you can learn more about the Ori, because there is the Ori Inu and the Ipanri. It's this, I would say, a complex within us. And so we have the Ori, which is here with us. You are not alone. You must get to know your Ori. We have the Ori, the seat of consciousness within us that is trying to get us unidentified so much with the ego, which the ego is needed to have this physical experience. The ego is all about having a body so that we can come in and experience this physical reality. Okay? The ego should be blessed, but the ego should not be in charge of anything. But that's where the majority of us put all of our time, our hope, our focus, our belief in this. But the Ori is saying, no, look to me. And what the Ori seeks to do is to get itself in alignment with our Ori Inu, which is the part of ourselves. And again, it goes back to self-realization, so you just got to study. It's the part of ourselves that is not differentiated in this body. It's in the non-physical realm. And it knows everything. It knows our destiny. Our Ipanri. It knows our destiny. And that is what we want, to be lined up in one with our destiny. And the way we do this is through spiritual practices, through studying ourselves. All those years before now, when we're awake, we study those because the clues are there. The more I awaken, the more I'm like, I should have known. I should have known this, because it's always been there. I've always sort of been this way, or had this propensity. And I remember when that happened, it was a turning point in my life. I had no idea that it was so much in alignment with my destiny, And so I'll never forget, I am initiated into the Sacred Feminine Mysteries, which is a goddess tradition. I feel every woman, maybe you won't initiate into the Sacred Feminine Mysteries. But you can learn more about who and what you are and establish practices and have a lifestyle that nurtures the divine feminine within you. The divine feminine, and this is a tangent. This is in fact a tangent. The divine feminine energy is so under attack that I don't even think we realize it a lot of times, how under attack we are. And what breaks my heart is that we don't all the time even come together as a collective. And I know that we're going to start turning this thing around when we can love our sisters, even when they're in the midst of not remembering the truth of who and what they are, but we will love them so that they are able to nurture this divine feminine. We got to get this divine feminine turned on and up so that we can continue to do the work that is needed to heal this world on so many levels, in so many ways. So I initiated, okay, I'm coming back. I just had to plug, we got to know this part of ourselves and work it. Men have to understand the divine feminine within. But if you are born within this feminine body, and this is the energy, this feminine energy is the energy that is the predominant energy for you, that you connect with and identify with, then you really need to work with this energy and use it to elevate yourself, your family, and the world. So I was initiated as a Sacred Feminine Mysteries priestess, and that process, did a great job of helping me to get into a place where I established regular spiritual practices and just continued to do the work of self-realization for myself. And then I started initiating into my Orisha Yamanya, which I thought I was going to initiate into Oshun. And I know other people who thought they were going to initiate into one Orisha and then they end up initiating into another Orisha, because it is the Oracle and the Orishas who call us. And so I ended that process before I got finished. I said, no, this is not my time. And I really sort of got to a place where I didn't know what to do. Since I didn't finish initiating to Yemanya, I was like, okay, I stayed connected to Yemanya because I am an SFM, or Sacred Feminine Mysteries priestess. We say SFM for short. I'm an SFM priestess. And so connection to the goddess energy is what I do. It's a part of my regular lifestyle. But I was just sort of on hold and in limbo with Yemanya. And so it forced me to connect with my Ori. And the year was 2008, the United States and many other places around the world, I'm coming to learn. The citizens of these countries ended up falling into seriously bad economic times because of the banks gambling all our money, messing up, and the government cutting them some slack. Yes, I know I'm talking politics. Let me stop. But that's really the truth. If you didn't know, I figured it out. That's why 2008 was so hard. But I tell you what 2008 did for me. It put me in a position because I had some bills to pay. And at the time, I was like mostly a stay-at-home mom. And, I admit, I have to continually to work to be good with money. I like to spend money. And so I had accumulated some bills that I was like, I really don't know how I'm going to pay this. The banks were sending out notices as they always do and talking about you need to pay and all that kind of stuff. And I was just so full of worry. What am I going to do? Because if I create it outside of my family's budget, it's my responsibility to take care of it. I'm like, my husband was doing what he was supposed to do. And I didn't consult him on these, nothing. So I'm like, okay, I got to take care of this. I'm so full of worry, and I say, Ori, God, if you really and truly are going to help me like you say you are, then you got to tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. And my Ori said, call the bank. There were 2 banks I had to call. Call the bank. I'm thinking, I don't want to call them. They're going to get me. But I said, if my Ori spoke, I would listen. Pick up the phone, called one. They were like, oh, because, the banks, they were calling, wanting their money, but they had messed up. So they're all of a sudden want to help everybody. One bank said, okay, we're going to do this, and you'll be done with this in 5 years. And that's exactly what happened. I got myself set up where no interest was accruing, and it all got paid off. That was incredible to me. And then there was another, I called the other one, same thing. They were like, oh, we got you. We're going to get you set up so that we can make this manageable for you. I was like, wow. And ever since that for me was when I really began to develop a deeper relationship with my Ori. The other things that I started learning were, I remember this scripture, me and my Father are one. That's in the Bible. And so I started saying me and my Ori are one, because I knew I had to get myself lined up with my Ori. If I stayed lined up with my ego, that was not going to work. I had to line myself up with my Ori. Me and my Ori are one. And then I began to say, you know what? The Ori is the end all be all. The Ori is here just for me. And so I would say, I submit myself 100% to my Ori, the divine within me. I had to do all this work to get myself lined up with my Ori, to the point where there's another story in the Bible that talks about Enoch. And it says, Enoch walked with God. And that is the one thing Enoch did that was different from everyone else, that allowed him to ascend to heaven. He did not die a physical death. And so that's why I say to myself, I walk with my Ori. I submit myself to my Ori. If I am to know my Orisha, it is my Ori. It says, you in Ifa, there are no blessings that will come to you without your Ori's consent. No blessings without Ori's consent. What is Ori? It is the highest divine wisdom. So before Orisha, it is Ori, because Ori is you. The Orisha are you too. And when it is time for you to develop that relationship with your Orisha, your Ori will line that path up for you. A lot of times what Orisha worship becomes, or connection becomes, it's more of an ego identification, where I am this Orisha. I am Yemaya. So that's why I act the way I act. I'm so Yemaya. Or I'm Oshun. I'm Shango. Now, I'm not going to lie. I look at people all the time and I think, if that person's Orisha was identified, I put money on that it was fill in the blank. Woo! Sometimes we might say, oh, that person is so Ogun, or she is so Oshun. Oh my gosh, did you see her? Oh wow, just so sensual and feminine. And a lot of times people will blame their defaults and defects on the Orisha. Well, I'm Yemaya. I went off on you because, we Yemayas, we're emotional. Well, guess what? The more I study Yemaya, which is the Orisha that I did eventually, just to let you know, I did eventually initiate into Yemaya, and it has been life-changing and beautiful all at the same time. But what I'm learning is, I continue to work. Let's put that word out there. Work. This is all work. With my Orisha, is that uncontrollable emotion is not acceptable, because if I'm walking, leaning, and depending on my Orisha, my Ori, it's no need for all of that emotion. It's no need for all of it, because guess what? I'm walking in trust. And so everything's going to work out. I'm just completely turning myself over. Everything's going to work out. So we can't use the Orisha to some kind of way boost our ego. The Orisha, first and foremost, every last one of them is in us. You have your own inner Oshun, Obatala, Eshu, Yemonya, Oya, Shango, Oko. You have your own inner Orisha. All of them are in you. The first step in initiating into Ifa typically is getting the Ilekes. When you get your Ilekes, you're going to get Obatala, Oshun, Yemonya, Shango, Eshu. 5 Orisha. Those 5 Orisha you have access to. It does not matter who runs your head, nothing. Because on a day when I'm feeling out of sorts, I'm not organized, and I might be a little bit emotional, guess what? I need to call on Obatala within me. If I am feeling like I'm not happy, I need some joy, I need to have some fun, I'm going to open up Oshun within me. Oh, if I need to get some cash, you better know, Oshun, I'm coming your way, because Oshun, she can create that cash just like that. Okay? And so on and so forth with what all of the various Orisha, their powers, what they represent, what they are, their wisdom, what it is. All of the Orisha within us, we have access to it. And what our Ori does is it leads, guides, and directs us in the direction that we are to take. The Ori knows the days when I need to take Shango's medicine. And that is the day that my Ori will direct me to Shango's medicine. Also, at the end of the day, the Orisha is really the Ori going through a particular energy matrix in a very laser-like way. But the more I learn as a priestess, as an Iya Olorisha, a priestess of Yemaya, is that we actually have the ability to access all of the Orisha. It is intensified for whatever Orisha you are initiated into. But the energy is open for us to work with all of the Orisha. I often feel like, and this is my personal opinion, what point is it for you to know what Orisha you governed your head if you are not going to work with that Orisha in a particular manner? So though I knew I was initiated into Yemaya, now I'm not part of a traditional Egbe. I'm a part of, for me it's traditional, but what I would consider, what a lot of people consider a traditional Egbe, where you show up and there's weekly meetings and, you just get to see more of, how Ifa has been done in the past. I'm a part of a virtual Egbe. Egbe is like the church or the family unit within Ifa. It's actually called the Institute of Whole Life Healing. And so it's not like once I ended my initiation, I still had a whole lot of access to making connections with Yemaya other than what I just did on my own. I always had my Yemaya altar, and I just kept talking to Yemaya, saying my Yemaya prayers, doing everything I could to make that connection. But at the end of the day, I think that my initiation got put on hold because I needed to get it right. Ori first, Orisha second. And once I initiated, now I have more tools to work with. But just to find out who your Orisha is at the end of the day, it's like, why? Unless you absolutely are going to be doing some work. And I believe in having mentors, spiritual parents, gurus, however you want to call it. I know a lot of people sometimes just want to sort of do things on their own, but I believe in having people who know more than me, because they can help me see my way. And I believe that it makes me be accountable. And so I'm just saying, if you know your Orisha, but you don't have anybody who you're working with. You don't have anyone who's going to help you grow more within this Orisha. It probably would just be better for you to work with your Ori until you want to make more of a commitment, like get your Elekes and just start doing different initiations that continue to help peel away anything that doesn't need to be there and helps to open you up more to the energy within you. But ultimately, it all points back to Ori, because Ori is saying, know the truth of who and what you are, which is me, Ori. And that has no name. It has no form. It is pure potential energy, divine consciousness. And so I say to all of you who are new that O-R-I, learn about your Ori. Within Ifa, learn about your Ori first. It is important for you after that to make a commitment. It is not about proselytization. I don't care if you join Ifa, not. But if you're going to play around with it, I say make a commitment. If you want to go deeper, make a commitment, initiate, at least get your Elekes. You got 5 Orisha, you're going to be open up to even more through that initiation. And do the work. What is the work? It is rituals. Now, depending on who you initiate with, understanding what rituals you do, it could be different. But we all know within Ifa, the ritual work is very important. Studying is important. And tantamount to that, living what you're learning. That is the ultimate. The last thing I'll say, because that just popped in my head, is it all leads to good character. So Ifa should be leading us to having great character, doing the right thing in the right way at the right time, and even when nobody is watching. That is what we really want to end up doing. And as we walk with Iwapele, good character, guess what? We're going to live out this destiny. We're going to live out this destiny. And if you are called, now I'm not saying at no point should you find out your Orisha if you're not initiating into the priesthood. I am saying that there should be some level of commitment before knowing your Orisha, and you should have some parents, and you should be committed to the work. And so yes, after a while, sure, go ahead, find out who your Orisha is or are, depending on how your family gives them. We're all different in Ifa. I feel like as long as people are being spirit-led, we're all going to land in the same place. So some people are going to give you 2. Some people are going to tell you 1. It doesn't matter. Rock whatever you get, okay? Work with that Orisha, because that Orisha energy is real. But for those who do need to know their Orisha for the purpose of initiating, that Orisha will call you. You will feel a call. And I don't feel the call is for everyone. I don't feel that it's any more special or anything like that. It just is what it is, a call. If you're not called into the priesthood, that's because you're called to do something else that is magnificent and marvelous. But the last little thing I'll say is, I know people who've been told, oh, this Orisha governs your head, and this Orisha governs your head, and this is one person being told 2 or 3 different things. That Orisha may be governing you for that time, and it gets confusing. And so I just say, go get some readings from a Baba or an Iya. I can do a reading for you if you need one. The Odu are the sacred scripture of Ifa. And so the Odu, which are living, breathing entities also, they're the wisdom of Ifa. When you get an Odu, you are told, this is the Orisha that you want to work with right now. But that Orisha, and I see the wisdom of the Orisha as medicine. So that Orisha is going to assist you with getting in alignment with your Ori. Just all points back to the Ori. I hope that this has been beneficial to anyone who is watching it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. To the woman who inspired this, which there's several of you who actually inspired this, but to the person who inspired me today, thank you so much. Peace, blessings of Yemaya be upon you and yours. Have a great day.